Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
Hey, Coach Jay, can hear you loud and clear. On the end of another exciting week in trading.
Yes, it has been. Yes, it has been. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to all of our buzzer beaters. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time here, welcome to At the Buzzer. The goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity, see how we could have taken advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. This is our first time meeting. I am Coach Jay. I've been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023. Been trading for the past 13 years and in the futures markets for the past 6, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep for a little over a year and a half as a performance coach. I've been involved. I'm here to share my experiences and knowledge and perhaps aid you into becoming.
All right, Coach. If you can, I think we got a robot voice, but I might have just fixed it on your side. So
Check.
let's just see.
Check. No, is that good?
I think we should be okay now. But chat, let us know if it has been fixed. Uh, Coach Hoop just said good.
Okay.
All right, so we should be good to go. Awesome. So let's take a look at the news. I don't think we had any real market moving news today. We did have a housing starts number come out at 1.49 million. Forecast was 1.327 million. But then outside of that, not too much. There was a industrial production number as well, came in at 0.9%. Forecast was 0.3. Uh, Outside of that, not much big news. We know the biggest news coming up in at least the U.S. is the change of administration on Monday. Right, we're going to be welcoming in a new old president on Monday, and Monday is also a half day for Martin Luther King Day. So just remember that the markets are going to be closed for half of the session. Topstep TV is still going to be on. I think we're going to be streaming the inauguration, but the markets will close half day. So read your Topstep email. It'll let you know exactly when you need to be out of shorts for any of you, or sorry, out of shorts. Something.
Someone wants to buy it. It's Friday.
I was reading the chat, and Andrew was talking to motivation shorts, so it just kind of popped in my head. But it'll let you know when you need to be out of your trades. If you read that Topstep email. It is Friday. Happy Friday. Let us know how you did this week. Were you up on the week, down on the week? Anything you learned from the week? Shout out to all of the VIPs that were in, the first season of the Topstep VIP that came to an end today. So hopefully some of you were able to cross the finish line and get into an XFA with those accounts. But if not, hopefully that experience was able to help you with your trading journey at all. Anything else you got on the news side, Coach?
No, I think you hit it on the head. Right now, it's witnessed by the Bitcoin move. It's about the new administration coming in Monday.
Right. Right. So let's get into the charts. Here we go. Yes, the quote board works. All right. So there are 35 different markets that we can trade with Topstep accounts, not just the equity markets. We like to go over the top percentage movers on the day just to get an idea of what markets are moving. Today, to the downside, we had copper down 1.98%, silver down 2.27%, and nat gas, our biggest percentage mover, to the downside. The consistency is insane. Nat gas is the Tom Brady of being in the top percentage movers. 7.89% to the downside for nat gas. To the upside, we had soybeans up 1.62%, platinum up 1.67%, and corn. Shout out to corn, coach. That was on your scouting report going into this year. Corn up 2.16% for our biggest percentage mover to the upside.
Sweet corn. Sweet corn.
Sweet
Yes.
corn.
My favorite corn.
Not kettle corn. To talk about our big four, we had crude oil down 0.53%. The S&P is down 0.91%. up 0.91%.
Yeah.
The Nasdaq up 1.58%, and gold down 0.5% to round out our big four. I have a crude oil chart up here, but we're going to switch this over to the equities. I know someone on the stream today traded the equities and traded the S&Ps. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about what that trade might have looked like, Coach? I have a 30-minute chart up here on the S&Ps.
Well, it was interesting. Yesterday we had that leak towards the end of the day, finishing near the lows. So if we, I mean, most of that, a lot of that happened while we were on air yesterday.
Yes, it did.
I was long some micros, and I'm like, well, we'll see how they open up in the first, open up on the Globex. So let's look at the first half hour.
Got your first half hour there. Put a VWAP on it as well. There's your move.
And how many times have we seen this? This is in different markets. So it's, I call it's, it's urgency, it's allocation. It's so I added a few more last night and held them to the opening this morning, and but here is that trade. And when you have that sharp break off, it's still above the 200 bar moving average. And what is it still above? That, that candle from CPI. By the way, that doesn't do justice. That all happened in what, 15 seconds? I
15
think it was
seconds.
15 seconds. So we
15
went
seconds,
back,
the whole
and
move.
you could consider that value. And that was huge volume. That's ownership. Those are, in other words, I haven't used this in a while. Strong hands.
Right.
That's strong hands. We went back, test, and held it. Not only held it, seems like there was someone saved some buying power for this sale that happened late yesterday. Now, I didn't guess this was going to happen. You just have to. So let's move that chart all the way to the right and do this. When you're reviewing or you're testing something, you don't look at just the output. This is practice in your mind, or get used to it. It's like good practice for shooters, form shooting, one step at a time. So we looked the first half an hour. Okay, well, if you've watched this for a while, looking for an urgency trade, a breakout trade. In this case, I'm looking for buying.
Yep.
So we frame out the first half an hour and put anchor VWAP to it. And check it. Now, once it happened, if VWAP breaks out, I'm willing to risk to new lows. And this VWAP broke out in the second candle. If that is an urgency, right? I mean, there it is. Held the lows. So, and even if you're trading micros, I think the risk was on a half hour was like 7 or 8 points on a micro. That's 50. Let's say it's $50. Even if it was 10,
It's not bad.
you can buy 2. But just looking at the flow, and you heard, here it is, VWAP, and we're making higher highs. Every time we touch VWAP, we rally, and then off we go. Come back and do what, Coach?
Check VWAP, check volume. Are you guys still buying? Yep, we're good. Let's just keep going.
Go ahead, let's just keep going. Now, this is what would play. Oh, wait, well, there it is again. Back to VWAP, holds it. And actually, what time was that? That was at Europe.
This is
That
2:30
wicked
Eastern
wick.
time. 2:30 Eastern
Yeah,
time right here this
right
week.
into
So
London.
right before London. Now this is the London 30-minute candle right here.
Well, let's open up. Let's look at London and start again. And into the U.S., which we get the big blow off spike. Um, and we really kind of slowed down from there, but I just want to kind of, no. Um, blow off.
Yep.
Um, by the way, that those highs on my daily numbers was the second resistance. Went through that, almost reached the third resistance in a volatile time frame, and because what I will say from there, you're far away from volume. If we go on the U.S. Open and put a VWAP,
I'm gonna go down to a shorter time frame. I'm gonna go to a 3. We'll look at the US Open
all right,
and we'll go to this is the open here.
just look at the volume and give it to you right away, right?
That's not gonna work. Let's make this line white. There we go. That's the volume from the New York Open, this white line here.
So once again, it wasn't as smooth, but we were 55 points higher at this point.
Right.
And we have to take that into consideration. It's like on the cash market, it just gapped up. But what I want to say was when we're past the second daily level of resistance, we're up 75, 80 points. It's not a good place to be establishing a long.
So
Um,
how do you get into this trade then, Coach? Because some of us might not trade until the New York session. I know I spoke to some VIPs about it as well. How do you get in here, if at all, at this point? Because, like
well,
you said, it is
pers-
extended.
yeah, I think it's too late. I
Mm,
find something else.
right.
Um, it's a very good question here. I would say if you really wanted to buy, it has to be above VWAP. And then you got chopped up a bit. Um, but if you manage um, you if you managed right, you get another shot at it. Or that's where it becomes a tough trade.
Yep.
We have to remember it's not that's a level. We're 55, 60, 70 higher. Um, Maybe it's look at Coach Roberts trade.
Right.
Sell the edges or buy the edge with a range chart. But the allocation's already happened, and that part actually I didn't do anything else. I was done.
There you go.
Um,
I at this point, so I was meeting with the VIPs, some of the ones that we still had trading, and exactly what you're kind of talking about here, Coach. We see this all the time, where sometimes we get a move in the pre-market that we get continuation through New York right away, right? Once New York opens, we get a continuation right away. But the Nasdaq was up about 1.2% on the open. The S&Ps was about 0.9% on the open, and if we don't get that immediate continuation, I think it's almost better to wait. And you can look back a couple of days and take a look at it, but it's almost better to wait for that first hour of the New York session to clear and then take a trade after that, right? If we look all of this chop and kind of indecision, the market's deciding, hey, it's much higher than where it closed. Do I really want to buy here? This is an accumulation phase, right? Where they're buying here, but This is where you can also get chopped up, right? Because it's not clearly defined where it's going. It's a 20-point range. There's, to me, a lot of anxiety in trying to trade this. Maybe you can just put a trade on. We did get a couple of tests of this VWAP, but once we get out of that first hour, which is right here, then it starts to kind of clean up a little bit, and we see a directional move going to take out those highs. Uh, this is tough. I mean, but you don't know that's going to happen, right? This is tough to trade here.
And that's a 3-minute chart.
Right.
So let's look, and this is the other, this is a major part of this. How many times can you afford to be wrong? The
Right.
volatility's gone. What is the average true range now in a 3-minute chart? Yep.
5 points, 6 points.
In a 3 minutes, 250 on an S, so, um, and it's chopping. Both sides are feeling heat. Um, Actually, I looked at that, and I'm like, that's kind of expensive. I don't want to fuck around. It's not for me. Now, for
Yeah, no,
those
it's a great point.
who, so, you see right away they were selling in VWAP. It was trending down. Then it goes sideways. Right there, it's still inside the opening range. When we say like that, and it stayed inside. I think the half hour. If we look at the half hour,
First half hour here. Let's take some of this stuff off so we can see it. First half hour there. Uh, put this up here. Yeah, it
yep,
stayed
it
inside for a
stayed
while.
in the range.
It didn't
Yeah,
start moving until the first hour.
yeah, and there it is. So once again, that's for me. That's a tough trade. Once you still had a lot of risk, but it went. But now you're buying at 75, 80 higher. The
Right.
day's range is almost in and done.
Daily ATR on the S&Ps I have at 79. We'll call it 80 even. We didn't, according to that, we didn't have a full daily ATR. Did we? Yeah, we did. We had a full daily ATR move from this low. Low of the day was 59.68. Let's just see real quick. I mean, we know the low was made on the open. 59.68. It's close enough. Yeah, at this point, there's 16 points left to get to a full daily ATR move, right? But where we're opening, right? We open with a percentage up, and if we think about averages, it's what it's saying is there's not a whole lot of room left. Now we did see a full daily ATR, which is great, but uh, to come in like you're saying, coach, and expecting immediate continuation trend, it's just hard to do. Uh, it's like asking a marathon runner to full sprint at the end of a race, and they
Yeah,
can do it, but
and
I
not
try.
be a Kenyan.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Unless some of the
I
ones that are
had
running 2 hour marathons, they could do it, but I've tried it. It sucks.
it sucks. No, yeah, I saw the finish a couple times here in Chicago, and it's just amazing how quick that the ones they can. It's an
They're like
amazing. It's
floating.
like stunning. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're effortless. Like
Yep.
anyway, but you're right. I mean, for 99% of us, it's hard to finish that quick.
Yep. All right. So anything else on the equity markets, coach? So the one thing I think is really interesting, this 60/40 level uh, that we talked about at the end of December, where we saw a ton of orders getting filled. Remember that we saw like a 2,500 lot get filled at 60/40 a long time ago. That
Oh
lines
yeah,
up.
that's
That lines up. That's kind of where we are right now. That lines up with that 6,000 SPX level, um, and just really interesting going into a change of administration that we're back at these prices. Uh, this could just be me putting a puzzle together in my head, but I don't know that it's a coincidence that we're back here, right? There was a big buyer, or whatever they were doing, big orders getting filled around here. Uh, we sell below it, potential for accumulation of a position going into a new administration. Who knows? I could just be creating stories here, but it's interesting that we're back up here.
Yeah, that's a lot of volume in
Yes, it
one
is.
order.
Yes, it
That's
is.
so
Uh,
let's look at the daily and weekly before we.
yeah, let's take a look. Here is the daily on the S&Ps. Purple line up there. We've been talking about this cross of the 20 and the 50 moving averages on the daily. The purple line up here is the 50 moving average. And we got a question actually here from Billy. Can you please share your SMA settings? What do you use under source? My 50-day SMA is about 40 points off on ES compared to Coach Paul's levels, or are they based on settlement? Let's take a look here. So these are 20, 50, 200 set to simple. And those are the only settings that you can change in TopstepX. So uh, I actually don't know if they, at least with this indicator that I'm using, I don't know if it's using. Hold on one second. Actually, let's see something here. Let's just use the moving average indicator. SMA. We'll change it to a 50. We'll make it green so we can see. Yeah, so if I have, we can see it, it kind of overlaps with that one here. But if I have this set to a 50 SMA and I don't change any of the other settings, it lines up exactly where that is, right? So, but if I change this, right, if I change it to open, high, low, close, it might change the value a little bit. So, with default settings, which is what we've been looking at, um, that's where the price should be. And somewhere like, see, if I set it to something, and I don't know why anyone would do this for
Could
looking
be
at
an
a higher.
EMA.
Yeah, you could be using an EMA as well, right? Just make sure you're using SMA, right? Let's change it to an EMA and see if that changes anything. Set to close, and it doesn't. It's exactly the same.
Mm.
Right? But what are you looking at here,
Well, yes,
Coach? Go ahead.
Coach, interesting. We caught we settled above with CPI settled above the 20, and then someone in the chat put out is classic bear trap. They got trapped. We look at the candle from that's a selling candle back to the 20. And where did we open before we had that last night where we made the lows in a get go and we had urgency?
Right on the 20.
Right at the 20. We went right where? To the 50. We haven't closed above it. We really need to close above that to really drive, to really pick up some momentum. But that was the wow. Look at it, 20 and the 50. Where are the high and the low?
You see where we closed? We've been talking about this candle for how long now? Since it printed. Uh, this FOMC candle, we closed exactly at 50% of it. And that level, that 60/28 level, is where, if we go down to a shorter time frame, that consolidation this morning happened right
Mhm.
around that 50% area, right? We just deciding what we do here. Uh, why does the market like to do this? I don't know, but it does. And it's exactly where we closed. So not in the clear yet, right? We've been at this level before. It does. I mean, these markets look bullish, but we've been at this level before and seen some rejection. So we do need to see some convinced buyers start to close over, I think, the 60/40 level, and then maybe we see some continuation there.
Yeah, and maybe pick up some speed to the upside because
Yep.
we're still in the dip. Buy the dip. I
Yeah.
don't,
Once it goes,
yeah, it picks up speed. Um, which using volatility and the average true range, volatility goes down as the market rallies. It's just what happens in the equities.
right.
So we're at a high level of vol or average true range. So what will drive that volatility down is a rally. So I'm still feeling a rally, but I don't. This is I don't predict. Stay in the present,
Yep.
get some information, find a place to lean on,
Act on the information.
and act on the information. Kind of
I
what
want to give
trading
it.
is all about.
Want to give a shout out to Summers Farm saying, "I'm new, happy to be here. Just started trading 5 months ago. Welcome. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. If you do have any questions, feel free, and this is for anybody, put them in the chat and we can answer your questions for you. But thank you for trusting us with your trading journey. Thanks for joining Topstep. Uh,
And if
and
you
we'll
like it, hit the there you go hand signal. You know what to do.
Will Rodden said it in the chat. If you like what we're doing here, hit that like button. Coach Paul is the GOAT. Will, I agree. I agree. Anything else we want to look at in the equity markets, Coach?
Let's look at the Nasdaq daily.
Let's look at the Nasdaq.
We don't
JD,
want to ignore the Nasdaq.
no, we do not. JD in the chat also saying earnings season is upon us. We got bank earnings all this week. I haven't checked dates for tech earnings yet. We'll get Nick for a tick on here to talk about some of the tech earnings we have coming up. Musty, can you give me $5 for a VIP spot? Uh, what do they call it in the NBA when they
Bribery.
is it briberies, collusion, whatever it is? Yeah, we can't do that. I'm sorry, but hopefully you filled out some of the
It-
forms and you're able to get on one of the VIP teams.
and we have absolutely no control. It's random.
None.
It
Yep.
truly is. Coach and I have talked about the idea of a portal.
Yeah.
The, but that's ruining college basketball and sports, my opinion. So we're not going to do it yet.
Right.
But look at this Nasdaq. Different than the S&P. It got down, it crossed, and it immediately got bought.
Yep.
It's above both of those. Let's look at a trend line from the all-time highs. I think we broke that, and we did this earlier in the week. That's a very friendly chart.
I agree. Let's see. Trend line from the all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
We're above it.
Okay.
Closed above it today. Yeah, this looks very bullish.
Yeah. And we had all that selling. What was it, 8 days in a row, 7 days in a row?
6, I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Came down to a low. Higher time frame support area. Going all the way back to November, and we bounced.
Boy, I mean, that's a channel. If I'm, that's right out of the textbooks. Under channel in a trading dictionary. There it is.
Right.
That's a perfect channel. It's broke through the upside. Looking friendlier. It's above the 20 and the 50-day moving average. I
Where do we
make
buy
no
it?
predictions, but I'm not. I don't want to get short.
Not for a long time. Got another question here. In your professional opinion, are potential increased tariffs a potential headwind for the markets priced in? Or do you see this as impacting CPI and would produce more rate cuts? And coach, you already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to throw that one to you.
Well,
You can drop it if you want.
I can say 2 words: Smoot Hawley. Tariffs are never good. I don't think it don't. It's just understand the Smoot-Hawley tariff. It actually it it was the movie, the classic movie where they go to Wrigley Field. They're in high school. Bueller,
Oh,
Bueller. He's
Ferris
taking a
Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Um, he's talking about the Smoot-Hawley tariffs, and they're all falling asleep. But someone brought that up. I'm like, oh yeah, well, tariffs start trade wars. Is that headwinds? Yeah, I can't make a trading decision. I have a personal bias, but that remains, it'll show. If there's more
Right.
sellers than buyers, then we'll get there. But I personally don't like it. I think it's a terrible idea. But you're going to pay. It's a tax, and that's all I'll say. Well, pass the ball to you, coach.
I like what you said about you don't make trading decisions off of it, off of that opinion that you have, because at the end of the day, well, you have to think with a different brain. What we're doing here is day trading, and if the tariffs do have a headwind effect and cause the markets to sell off, from a day trading perspective, we could take advantage of that to the downside, right? You could be a little bit more nimble with those decisions, maybe for some longer time frame investments. That might change something if there's a negative effect. But with what we do here, and we got to make day to day decisions, there is opportunity in that as well. Even if we don't want to see the markets coming to the downside, if that was to happen. Uh,
Musty made a good point there.
right.
Do these economics really matter if you're in a trade for 1 to 2 hours? Um,
1 to 2 minutes
and
for some people.
1 to 2 minutes, but it is a good question. Don't get me wrong. I have a strong opinion about it, but I can't make my trading decisions on it. Um, I was I was a trained economist. That's what I majored in college. For the first couple years trading, it didn't work for me until I just made my decisions based on charts and risk management.
Right. Will Rodden, did it take me more than one time to pass my combine? I'm considering trying a third time. Yeah, it took me more than one time. Because I didn't even when I first started, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pass this thing in a day, or however many. Well, it wasn't a day; it was like 10 days then. But it was just like, yep, I'm just gonna try it. And then I started to realize like, oh, there are rules here. I need to understand what's going on. If you're trying it a third time, don't get in that reset cycle where you're just buying a bunch of accounts and trying to pass. If it's taking you 3 times, maybe you failed it twice. Try to consider what it is that you could do this third time around that you're giving yourself another try to uh, see some success. Right? Don't try to rush the process. Yes, you can pass a combine in 2 days. It's not the most sustainable type of trading. It's not the trading that we're going to say, hey, carry that into an XFA. But if you're on your third try, hopefully you've learned something since the last time you failed. Try it again, but be patient with the process. All right, where are we going from here, Coach?
Um, Gold. Oh no. Oh, we have to go to the 4. Let's go with gold.
We don't have to do anything.
We don't have. You can't make me.
Right.
Oh boy, gold is just getting to its old gold self.
Yep.
um, wow. Looks like one of well, what's this, the half hour?
This is the half hour. This is starting last night. Um, VWAP attached to it. Didn't really do much
Broke
through
down.
Asia
Got sold hard in Europe,
and
but
bought
we
right back
broke
up.
out of is it a 2-to-1 trade when it broke out?
Yeah. So ATR and the 30 minute here would have been 3 points. So six, risking six, which was pretty much make a new high. And you got 12. Yeah, 2 to 1 trade right there. And that's not even the best trade location.
So we talk about day trade. Someone brought up words that I'm 2-to-1 trades in a day trade time frame are great. I think that's about optimum amount.
Mm,
Because look, let's say no, I want 4-to-1.
right.
Well, it becomes a scratch, or if you're really stubborn, you lose your original bet. 1-to-1s, 2-to-1s. Can we find a few of them a day? I think so.
Think
But
so.
here, wow, that that came roaring back. But it's interesting. when it came roaring back, it got above made new highs for the day, took off like a scalded dog. But what happened at those highs?
Volume never went with
How
it.
volume did not go with it. It what goes up came down faster than it went up. Um, wow, it's good. Gold is getting. I mean, it's those are hard days. If you're stubborn,
Yeah,
were there a
it
lot of good trades in there? Yeah, bad trades too.
it looks like a much better swing trade than a day trade right now. To the long side,
Yeah.
right? If you're going because like this price action looks great, right? Over this is over the course of 3 days, and then we consolidate a little bit here. I did trade it. I traded it to the short side because we got extended up here. I saw, we looked above yesterday's high, and volume was not going with it, so I did take a short right around 27.55, kind of back
Oh,
into this range. But I was just looking at this as big range bound market, giving an opportunity to take a short. Got some questions here from Bassam. Hopefully, I said your name correctly. How do you read the Dom and use it in your favor?
Bassam.
Bassam. There we go. Thank you, Coach. And there was another question as well from High Volume. Similar question. So there's a $40 charge for level 2. Can you explain the benefits of having that versus the Dom? So using and on this TopStep X, I don't want to have to sign out and go to the other one. I don't have I don't have level 2 data here. So you can see with level 1 data, I can only see one level up and one level down, right? If I pay for level 2 data, then I'm able to see multiple levels up and down in the market. Um, is it necessary for you to have as a trader? I use it every single day, and I'm going to tell you that it's not necessary. Um, if you are an order flow trader and you want the added information, you can see how it's valuable to you, then yeah, go ahead and add it. But the way I use the depth of market to trade, uh, I'll try to identify bigger orders. For example, if I'm looking at the S&P and I see a 1500 lot in the S&Ps, I want to see how the market responds to that big order, right? I'm not going to try to make sense of every individual order out here because I could put an individual order out there, right? I could put a 10 lot on the depth of market and it show up here. No one should be following my positions, right? My opinion about the markets don't matter. So what I'm looking for is, hey, who has big pockets that is showing me what their opinion is in the market, right? And now trying to frame my trades around what that position is doing. Um, and that's what I'm looking at. A lot of times we'll see the markets act like magnets to these orders. Sometimes you'll see the market run away from it. So I think it's identifying that there are orders out there, seeing how the market responds to them, and then helping using that information to help frame your trades. And JD just said it in the chat. JD's been with me in the Coach J chat for the last year. He said the DOM is a lot of info to process. Be careful, 100%. If you try to, I'll say it right now. If you pull up a time in sales and a depth of market next to each other and try to make sense of every single tick, it's like, oh, they're buying, they're selling, they're buying, they're selling. You're going to drive yourself crazy, right? Put it in the overall context of what's happening in the market. And for me, I only ever look at a big order that's out there, right? Even if I'm on Top Step TV, I'm not constantly talking about the information that's going on in the DOM. But then if something sticks out, I'm like, oh, hey, there's this order at this price. Maybe we should pay attention to that. But more often than not, I'm not staring this down.
Great explanation.
Anything to add to that, Coach?
I think I've used it before. I don't even use the ladder. I personally, I see, especially in Nasdaq, I see a lot of movement,
Mm-hmm.
and it creates anxiety.
Yep.
I think the output of the DOM is what you want. Like Coach just said, how much is traded over? Was there a big order? For me, that information comes out best in VWAP personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's how the effect of that volume is really what I want to that that I want out of that. But the movement, it's too much for me. But like I said, if it works for you, use it, look at it. Do you have to have it? No.
Will Rodden has a comment here. He says, I started trading with a 15-minute delay on my account. I did better then than when I had level 2 real-time data. It's pretty crazy. But that's telling you that maybe slow down. Trading with 15-minute delayed data is nuts. But if it worked, it worked. I can't say anything. If it works, it works. Um,
You know,
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Uh,
damn, I'd love to do a study on that.
r-
You know what? I, it's a great question. Good on
right.
you.
Kind of
Uh,
shocked by that one. I would have. I'm not gonna try it. All right. Let's go over to crude oil, and then we'll get into any other markets that might have moved. Here is crude oil. Looks very similar to the gold chart today.
yeah, the kind of flip side of gold.
Yep, two-sided.
Um, and you know, in the gold being a Friday, we've had this. Definitely yesterday we saw the exhaustion, and when we tried that rally, um, we got it last night on what, very small volume.
This was a nice
But it
trade
did
last
break
night.
out. It was a beautiful trade. 2 to 1, 1 to 1. Yeah, I'm almost positive it did.
Yeah. 60 ticks would have been your stop. That would have been somewhere down here. Look how far out of the way that is on that breakout.
You could just
And you got no, you didn't even get a 1-to-1 with a 2 ATR
no.
stop.
All right. Um.
You got some profits though.
Oh,
It's
you
up to you.
just if that's too much, new lows, or you close under VWAP.
Yep.
That's another. So when we're talking about new information, because we've seen this, if it closes under, I could trade it above and below to the buy side. If it gets under, I'm flat. I don't want to go short. But it doesn't reach it. Can you scratch that trade? Yes, you could. Absolutely. But boy,
Crude
was
officially
it?
rolled over, right? We are
Yep.
trading the March contract now.
And I'm almost to the point where the day starts in London. I almost want to frame out the London crude as the start of the day. How many times we talk? We made the high where in London.
Yeah, we have. Actually, I mean, we got some time here. Let's just take a look at it. 3 a.m. Let's just go to the past couple of days. Here's 3 a.m. there. And I'm talking Eastern time. Here it is here from the day prior. These are all just much better moves. If we wait for London, because you look at the price action before. I mean, today's example, you did have a pretty nice trade, but the range starts to pick up through London as well, right? Where you might get a little bit of a quicker move. Uh, whereas here's, I think this is Tuesday. Hmm. Might
That's something. How many? Because we keep coming back to it. Well, in London, um, because you know it's volume. The volume picks up in London. London is the center of oil trading. Been-
looks
It's
pretty
been
interesting to me. Looks pretty interesting to me. I don't know if I'm gonna wake up and trade it, but if I ever find myself not being able to sleep, I know what I'm going to be trading. I mean, look at this one. Look at this. There's no question about
Cheerio.
that. That's a
That's
4% four
cheerio.
percent move.
I want to be. I want to be a London time.
Yeah, might have to move. All right. Anything else
All
on
right.
crude? Any other markets we want to talk about? I know micro. Wow, that chart looks crazy. Micro Bitcoin was one, and then I want to talk about corn also, Coach,
All right.
because it was our biggest percentage mover to the upside today. Let's look at micro Bitcoin. Here is last night's open. Bitcoin is back above 100,000. Does anyone know if spot Bitcoin is back above 100,000? Futures were trading at 105.
I'm pretty
Uh,
sure it is. 105. That's about to carry. This is the new month. It's right there.
mm,
Oh, actually, I quit guessing and go look at. But there it is again. You know, there a breakout of the opening. Look at that. It never closed below VWAP.
not once. Not once.
Big
And
move.
it's when we're looking at these again in hindsight, we see these play out so often that the confidence to kind of take some of these. I really wish there was a way I could just take every single one. Um, but the confidence to kind of take some of these where you don't know that it's going to end up this way, right? Maybe you have maybe there is some news or something fundamental that comes out that facilitates a move like this, like our incoming president saying he's going to be very favorable and make crypto a priority for the U.S. Right? Uh, that can facilitate this move, but there's almost limited to no drawdown here, depending on where your trade entry is. And if you miss this, it gives you a couple opportunities to get into this trade where you don't have to catch that low. Uh, it's just a beautiful move.
That's the one you're playing for.
Right.
And
Right.
with micro Bitcoin, you can do 2, 3. You can do 4. I mean, it's not. But yeah, boy. Let's look at the daily.
Here we are on the daily. I'll pull up the moving averages. We almost got across there. We didn't.
God, it looks like the Nasdaq.
Yeah, it does. A year ago, there was
It's
some
almost.
there was someone
Could
that
you bring
said
up?
Bitcoin is going to
Go ahead.
start trading like the equities. This looks exactly like a Nasdaq chart. Let's try to do a side by side here. No, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Okay. Oh, take the link off. There we go. All right. Zoom out a little. Bitcoin on the right, the Nasdaq on the left.
Wow. It should be in the Magnificent Seven now.
Yeah,
Wow.
right.
It makes you wonder if one of those.
Bitcoin is in the Nasdaq, right? If you think MicroStrategy, where all they do is buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's the beauty of Bitcoin. There's only going to be so much.
Right.
But technically speaking, look at that. Is Bitcoin leading? We'll find out. I'm going to follow that a little closer. In this chart, yeah, Bitcoin goes up, Nasdaq's going to go up. Um, is that true? I don't know. But I treat them both differently. But as soon as we brought that up, I go, I was going to tell you, but no, I said bring up Bitcoin, not Nasdaq.
Yeah,
Uh,
very, very similar charts here. This looks like it's ready to break out, make new all-time highs. The Nasdaq, maybe Bitcoin is leading right now because the Nasdaq has a little bit of a way to go to get to that all-time high. But very bullish chart, not something I want to be short for a very long time unless something changes. But when you hear new administration coming in favorable to crypto, you could imagine, we could put the moon back on there. I don't want to scroll and find it, but I'll put it on later. But yeah, these are very bullish charts. Very bullish charts. Um, all right. Anything else we want to go over? Let's take a look at corn. We broke out of that trend line to the downside, coach, and it has been. Was it this trend line we used last year? Yeah, I think it was that one.
yeah,
Whichever one it was.
no,
We
from the
broke it.
top, from
It was from
way
the top,
back, from way back
way
machine.
back.
Yeah, that's
That's a good one. We
Uh-huh.
broke out of it, got above that 200 daily moving average, and corn has just been ripping to the upside since then. This was the WASD report where we talked about, seeing if the market supports this area. It has a little consolidation, kind of bull flag breakout. Uh, and we're coming up to a higher time frame resistance area here. I don't know how many traders we have trade corn. Shout out to Coach Jack if you're listening. I know he usually does tune in. Actually, Coach Jack and I are going to do a class in Discord on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Coach, if you're available and you want to join, then too, we'll be on there. But
Yeah, sure.
this is looking like a very bullish market. We'll see what happens when we come up to this higher time frame resistance up near that 500 level. But this is a strong one. We talked about this on the last day of 2024 on your scouting report as a potential market that had some really nice upside, and I think we might just be beginning to see it. But this is your market, Coach. What are you seeing here?
More of the same. I mean, I think we take that moon and rocket and create a meme coin representing feed corn, and then load up a
Meme corn.
meme corn. I know some I'm gonna talk to someone
I
about
mean,
that.
just don't disappear
Mm,
like the like Haley Welch.
yeah. Um, I know the exchange is floated on. Um, anyway, this is this is a classic for trend followers. This is like the hot chick. I mean, this is it. This is what you wait for. By the way, you have to wait a long time. These don't happen, but different markets it'll come. So look at it. Since then, we had that WASD. We're over the half hour. We've held WASD, World Agricultural Supply and Demand Equation report that comes out. It's the CPI of the grain world. Um, we held that, went back and tested it, and man, came close to that 200, where it seems that this is just, to me, this is where funds come in and they wait for it and they buy it up, and they're not letting it, obviously they're not putting it back to the market.
Yep.
This is an accumulation phase. So still corn, buy the dip. Um,
From a day trade perspective, Coach, because this is one where we see some of these consolidation days, and then if you look at where the breakouts happen, and again, remember just the hours for some of these agricultural products are a little bit interesting. Where we have a break in the day. I'm looking at this is 8:30 Eastern time right here,
hmm, there
right?
we
8:30
go.
Eastern time. Then the market closes after 8:45 Eastern time and opens up again at 9:30 Eastern. So you could almost look at the same equity open as the open for some of these ag products, because that's where we see that volume uptick again. And you could trade it the same way, right? If this was a S&P chart, if this was a Nasdaq chart, we'd be talking about how beautiful of a trade this is, right? And I think this is a perfect example of there's opportunity in a bunch of different places. I like the fact that we do the scouting report at times, right? Because basically all that's saying is, hey, there's a market that's moving, and then it's your job as a trader, if you want to trade it, to apply your technical analysis to a market that's trending, right? I could take the price scale off on the side, and we don't know what this chart is from a technical perspective. This is a beautiful trade. Um,
Didn't we just see that?
if we we just saw a couple examples of this same exact thing. Um,
And there it goes, right back to VWAP, where the buying continues.
yep. And these are not, from what I've heard from you and Coach Jack, these are not speculator markets, right? This is
Yeah,
required buying.
it's the commercial market.
Yep.
Like I said, maybe I'm going to do this meme coin and corn. I, I know, guys. I'm gonna.
I
A
know
matter
a
of
guy.
fact,
He knows a guy.
I know. I know some crypto guys that do this. I actually have a meeting with him after we
Nice,
hang out.
nice,
I
awesome.
don't know if it could happen, but wouldn't that be fun?
Just let me know.
Meme corn.
Let me know. I'll let you know my my wallet where you can send it to.
All
Uh,
right.
did we talk about nat gas today? We did not talk about nat gas today. We can
No,
talk about nat gas now. Anything else on corn that you're seeing, Coach? Just more upside.
more
And
upside. Buy the
yep,
dips.
buy the dips. Uh, remember, everything we say here is for educational purposes only, not investment advice. If you see a meme corn,
Billy,
if you see a meme corn out there and you decide to uh, buy it, that is your own financial decision. I think Bitcoin might
corn
exist.
coin, Bitcoin. Well, I'm gonna check them all out. This is gonna be fun.
All right, let's it is Friday for sure. Let's look at
Oh yeah.
nat gas. Natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the downside. Um another one. Okay, so since we're looking at London, where's London? Are you reading the chat just laughing right now?
No, I just saw you put that up. I'm like, how many times do we got to see this? We're not going to do it anymore. Only for a long time with viewers.
Yeah.
Better hit the like button now.
Yeah. Hit the hit the like button for at the amount of times that we've seen this exact trade play out in the last 7 months that we've been doing at the buzzer on YouTube. So I need at least 500 likes, at least.
Uh, yeah,
We've been doing it for about 7 months, 30 days, it's 210, but we look at 6 to 7 markets a day. We've seen this exact trade play out. I don't know how many times. Hopefully, some of you are able to implement that in your trading strategy. We know traders that have. Um, I think we should put a name on it, like the rest of the
yeah.
trading world does.
TM.
But really, what it is uh, oh, we can call it the PJ.
Yeah,
The PJ trade, right? Where it's Paul and Jay, and if you take it enough, you'll have enough money to buy your own PJ, your own private
PJ
jet.
meme coin. Right. Oh, right.
That's a bar.
I like that. I like that thinking.
There you
A
go.
private jet. The JP curve. Well, we'll throw a shout out to Coach Hoop. He's going to be covering the Nat Gas fundamentals after, I think, right after this on Discord.
Awesome. Shout out
PJ or PJ? It is Friday.
E-
No, PJ.
PJ trade, private jet trade. Right. Hit that like button if you like what we're doing here. Just having a little fun on a Friday. I want to thank everyone for joining. Coach, any other markets that you want to talk about before we go, or any other words
Uh,
before we go into a Friday?
uh, just some more. Was very. I hope everyone learned a lot, and it is just about making a lot. Obviously, that's the objective, but learn, keep progressing. Um, and as I told my privateers, I'm put it out here. Work on your trading plan and executing your trading plan. Um, you'll get better this weekend. Take an hour to review your trades you made this week. Maybe for me, I do it for just about an hour, hour and a half. And sometimes I find out like who made that trade? That couldn't be me. Take those trades. That's how you get better and know why you made them. Otherwise, have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, everyone. One last question for Ariel Taylor. Why did I draw the green and gray box around those two candles? This one here is the Globex Open, so 6 p.m. Eastern time, and then this one here is the London Open, which is 3 a.m. Eastern time. So just kind of looking at the differences between the two. I wanted to put it on the London here because of the move that we saw in crude oil that happens in London. Just wanted to see what that looked like from uh, uh, nat gas perspective. But Coach Hoop doing his class in 15 minutes in Discord. Make sure you show him some love over there. Thank you everyone for joining. Uh, enjoy your weekends. We will talk to you all on Monday. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Goodbye.